I'm back. I'm alive. I've had COVID for a very, very long time. I had the flu, my wife got COVID, then I got COVID, and then we both had COVID, and then it was this big sofa of doom where I kind of just bleeped in and out of existence, and now I'm here, back, just for you. Hi, welcome to another video from Corporate East. My name's Jay. I play board games from Asia and share what I find with all of you. Today we're going to talk about Come Sail Away, the 10th game from the publisher Saashi and Saashi. Now, if you are new to Saashi and Saashi, Saashi and Saashi is a two-person publisher out of Japan. Easily one of the best publishers to ever come out of Japan, period. Now, as I said, it's a two-person team. You have Saashi, who is the designer, and his wife, Takako Takurai, who does all the artwork for their games. And her artwork is really, really unique in the board gaming space and has this nice clean look, and it's very, very reminiscent, at least for me, of Tintin. I grew up on Tintin, and I'm a huge fan. How big of a fan? I have a Tintin tin made of tin. So if you ask me, Jay, do you like Takako Takurai's art? I'm gonna say hell yeah. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. I will not be talking about how to play the game in this video. I already did a teach and play video. I'll put a link below and a link here to that video, so please check that out. Now, before I get into the review, I do want to mention that Come Sail Away is the collaboration between Saashi and Daryl Chow of Boardgames, a Singaporean publisher. Now, they did a collaboration earlier with Remember Our Trip. Now, if you do watch my top 8 Saashi and Saashi videos, you'll see that I ranked this one number 1, and that might still be the case. I think this one is a very, very unique. This is not like any of the previous Saashi games that I played. This is not like any of the previous games designed by Daryl Chow. It is its own unique little gem that plays very uniquely compared to any other game that I've ever played from the East or the West. So does Come Sail Away repeat that? And I'm gonna say no. And that's because Daryl Chow also designed this game Overbooked many, many moons ago. And if you played Overbooked, you can definitely see that there is a lot of the Overbooked DNA in Come Sail Away. Now, if you ask me if I wanted to play one of these two games again, I don't think I'll ever play Overbooked again because Come Sail Away is just that much better. Now, first, we always talk about components. Now, the components do consist of tiles that are about 2 millimeters thick, and they are all very, very sturdy, all except for this piece here. And because it's kind of long, it could get kind of flimsy, and it doesn't lay flush along the table. Usually like one end is kind of curled up or it's a little poofed up here, so when you have the little luggage token here, it kind of just pops off the board. That's super nitpicking stuff, but these are things that kind of just grind your gears after a few plays. Not a deal breaker for me, but it is something that I do want to mention out to you. Now, I will say that when you set this game up, it looks really, really cool. They didn't have to do this tile segment. I'm sure they could have done this a number of ways. They didn't even have to have the sideboards for the front and end of the ship, but I'm really glad they did. Having the little tiny rooms be like these little smokestacks for the top of the boat is just this really, really nice touch that you don't see in a lot of games, and it's very, very clean and simple. Now, one thing I do want to mention that you don't really get to see in my teach and play video is just how colorful this game is. When you have all the rooms and all the meeples and all the cards just all splayed out together, it's actually really, really beautiful. Very clear, and the meeples are just these bright, vibrant colors that pair well with the brown and white of the tiles, and it just looks really, really clean. UI, user interface, this game is just amazing. You could just look at this and it just becomes very, very intuitive very quickly of how to play the game. And I absolutely love that. The iconography is very clear and intuitive. How the pieces work, how everything is kind of arranged is, again, really, really clear. And I really can't stress enough how much thought really, really went into the game. So then that's also cool is that Come Sail Away is colorblind friendly. And in addition to all the colors, you have these nice little symbols on all the cards that are dictating you which color they are. On top of that, you may not notice this at first, but each of the 5 meeples have a unique shape, and that shape looks very similar to the icon given and assigned to each of the 5 colors. Cool! Gameplay! The meat of the review. And I will say that Gameplay. And if I had to choose one adjective to describe this game, it would be smooth, because this game is just like butter. Teaching this game is not difficult at all. And if you watch that teach and play video, the teach is like maybe a minute or two, because when you play the game, it just flows so quickly and smoothly. You have 2 cards, you pick one, you get the colors on there, you drop them in order, Mancala style, onto your boat. Done. Wash, rinse, repeat. Oh, did you finish a room? Well then, empty it out, flip it over, and get some bonus points. Oh, did a luggage person go to a baggage room? Okay, move your luggage across the track. Oh, did you finish a baggage room? Okay, move your luggage across the track. Pretty simple. I gotta say that this game is it's just smooth, and I'm gonna be saying that again throughout this video, because it just plays so quickly and effortlessly. Now, I will say that not everyone who plays, that's played this game with me, is really, really good at the Mancala style of dropping meeples onto their board. I can do it pretty quickly, some of my friends can, but some of my friends can't, and they have trouble with it, and they do have a little bit of AP involved there, and I can understand that. So this sort of spatial element style of thinking isn't as intuitive for everyone else, and that is the main backbone of the game. So the game could come to a little bit of a slow and drag, but it would not exceed 30 minutes, because this game is just lightning fast. Now, I do want to mention some negatives really quickly before I start gushing more and more about this game. Number one is that the size it's a big box, and it is the biggest box that Saashi and Saashi has ever published. And because of that, I think a lot of people will think, oh, it's a big box, it's a big game, and it's totally not. This is, I think, by far not the most complicated game that Saashi and Saashi's done, even though it is the biggest. And that can be a little bit confusing. People who buy this game might have expectations that it's going to be really complicated, and then they're just shocked when the game is this really smooth 30-minute gameplay experience. The other negative is this little one piece here. All the other cardboard pieces are absolutely fine. It's just this one is a little bit of a problem because it can be wobbly and it doesn't lay flat. So it could have been a little bit thicker, or it could just be a manufacturing problem. Number 3 would be the cards. Now, the cards themselves, there is no bleed around the sides. So when you shuffle these cards, if you're doing a rifle shuffle or you're just a little bit too careless or fast, then you could scratch the edges, which isn't totally ideal, but I mean, it's not a game breaker by any means. So that is something that I think it's that some people would be concerned about, and I would be initially concerned about, but then I think, just let it go. Now, make no mistake, the most divisive part about this game is that it is multiplayer solitaire. It is a knitting circle game. You are kind of just doing your own thing and not giving a hoot about the other player. Now, there is some player interaction. When you choose one of the 2 cards here, you're going to give the other card to the other player, and then at the end of the round, everyone's going to draw a card from the pile, so they'll have 2 cards again. Now, you could ideally take a card that's kind of okay bad for you and give a card that's bad for your opponent, but chances are of players playing that style is very, very, very low. Like, you are mostly concentrated on what you're doing and what's more optimal for you. Like, out of all the games I've played, like, hate drafting is just the ROI, the return from that investment is just not worth it. Ever. The biggest change, though, is that with the solo game versus the multiplayer game, especially when you play like a 4-player game, is that the goal cards or the facility tiles, where you kind of are rushing to complete ahead of your components, get to fill up faster. And when you play a multiplayer game, you kind of have to pay attention to what everyone else is going for. And because if they're start pulling in the lead, because if they're like 2 people ahead to a room and you're 0, it's really hard for you to catch up and complete that room in time to get that 3-point bonus. Whereas in the solo game, you just, you kind of have your own thing. You're just rolling around doing your own thing. It's not that big of a deal. You can maybe get to 2. You could easily get 2, maybe 3, maybe 4. I've never seen a game where anyone, or me included, ever got 5 of the facility tiles. But it would be a lot easier doing that solo. Now, with a 4-player game, it's kind of hard to keep track of what everyone else is going for, but let's say a 2-player game, because I played this quite a few times with my wife, I could see which facility tiles that she's gunning for, and then I would just go for other tiles so to make sure that I get that 3 points. Now, the biggest negative that I have for the game, and I'm not even really sure that it's a negative, is that when I play the game, it's very, very light. It's very definitely a mid-weight game. I do feel that it's one mechanism, one mechanic too few. And I often think when I play this game, it's like, should there be another mechanic? Should there be like milestones that we're all racing for to get points from? Like the first person to complete like, I don't know, 3 baggage rooms, the first person to send to the pier like 5 people of a certain color. Just some sort of set collection or milestone mechanic there that have made the game better. And I think, yeah, it would make the decision space a little bit tighter and more interesting. But I think the game itself is already so smooth, and it's already at that level of one more mechanic could feel like it's just a little bit too bloated. Like there's too many things here in the kitchen. And I think right now this game is perfect. Is that it's just really, really, really smooth. And you just play this game and it's just done in like 25 minutes. Like it's just lightning fast. And if you're playing with someone who's played this game before and they're used to this kind of spatial thinking, that you can knock this game out in under 20 minutes. It's amazing. And when you finish this game in under 20 minutes, you might as well just set it up and play another round again, because that's how smooth the game is. Now, all of those negatives out of the way, I don't see them as being really, really negative, because the gameplay experience in this is just, I just can't stress this enough. It's just very, very smooth. Now, I do say that because it is so smooth, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can make bad decisions, because you definitely can make some pretty bad decisions. And it took me my second game before I could realize how you should be playing the game. Because once you fill up those rooms, you can't really have anyone go there. You can, but they become disgruntled and go off and become negative points. So when you fill up the rooms of your boat, you kind of want to go from like left to right, from top to bottom, from bottom to top, and you kind of want to keep that wave there, because if you finish like in the middle, well then these two halves, they can't flow and connect with each other, and it gets really, really difficult to finish those rooms. Now, the obvious winning strategy is to get the luggage person into the baggage room, so that way your luggage piece can go from left to right all the way. In fact, if you look at my teach and play video, I did an amazing job, the best I've ever done, well, second best I've ever done in the game, and I was able to push that luggage token like pretty far right, as far as you can go, and I got a really nice score because of that one strategy that I stuck to. Now, I do think that that one strategy of just getting luggage people to baggage rooms is pretty powerful, and that's pretty much going to be that same strategy that you can play every time you play the game. So I don't know if you might get tired of that. I don't think I will. I used to think I would, but it's just the game itself just plays so smoothly that it just is such a joy to play. Now, I've been gushing about this game for quite a bit. I give it 2 thumbs way up. Definitely one of the best Saashi and Saashi games I've ever played. Now, I played all of his games, and I would probably rank this in the top 3 out of all the 10 games, because it's just really, really smooth and really, really good. I do think that this game is actually really intuitive to teach and easy to teach. Probably the easiest Saashi and Saashi game to teach ever. And I easily think that if I had to rank the 10 of his games again, this would fall pretty high up, maybe definitely in the top 3 games, I think, out of all those 10 games. I do wish it was a little longer, with maybe 1 or 2 more mechanisms in the game, just to make it maybe 35 to 45 minutes long. But I'm really, really happy with what I have, and at a 25-minute mark, we could just play again and again, like 2 times every time we pull it out. I do think it's quite odd that one person has to set up their boat and then everyone else has to mirror that boat, so it can be a little bit tricky for the setup, but the breakdown is pretty fast. I do love how colorful the game is, just everything that puts it to this game. When I play this game, I could definitely see how well it was play tested, how much thought went into the game, how the design was just so meticulously thought of, and how intricate everything plays together. And it's it's just so rewarding to see a game that just plays so smoothly as a result of that. And I can't help but just give this 2 thumbs way up. I can't recommend this enough. Now, if you're interested in this game, you do want to go to the Saashi Saashi page and just order straight from his website. Now, if you are in Europe and you want to go ahead and get this game, you could probably hold your horses, because news alert, Saashi and Saashi is coming to Essen this year. And he's going to have his own booth that he's going to share with Oink and Essen Games, 3 giant Japanese publishers in one booth at Essen. Mind-blowingly fun and exciting news. I will be making a video about that booth, all the games that are going to be at that booth, and you can just watch that one video and hear me talk about all the games, what my thoughts are, and hopefully that'll give you an idea about which games are right for you. If you're curious to see what that video might be like, well, check out last year's Essen videos where I talked about all these Asian publishers, what booth number they're at, and all the games that are going to be at that booth and what I think of them. Once again, my name's Jay. I play board games from Asia and share what I find with all of you. I'm going to put some links to some videos here that I think you'll enjoy. See you there. You know, you don't use your YouTube voice every day, so when I started using it again, like, oh, all that coughing, all that COVID is still